This is the Jazz Game Night pregame show, brought to you by United Security Financial on the Zone Sports Network.
You know, I grew up here. I'm from here, and so when I was on the road trips, on the bus trips, you know, the plane flights coming, I was always curious to see, you know, everyone's attitude about coming to Salt Lake. And overall, Spence, I can tell you a funny story. We were on a plane in Seattle with the Indiana Pacers, and we were flying to L.A. to play the Clippers, and the plane broke down, and we had to turn around and go back to Seattle. And Reggie Miller's in the back of the plane, and he yells out, "This never happens when we go to Salt Lake." So I know, you know, typically there's some players that don't like to come here. It's the cold weather, high altitude. Fans are right on top of you. A lot of guys love that and appreciate that, but a lot of guys get kind of irritated with it. You know, LeBron comes here, and he plays hard. And he doesn't take the night off. You know, I've seen T-Mac come here, and all of a sudden the back's sore. Baron Davis come here, and the back's sore. The hamstrings are sore. And it's like, for whatever reasons, it's like some of these East Coast teams, superstars night to be like, I don't want to do that game.
The Jazz are 6-20. They're 3-10 away from home. Britt, what did you see in the San Antonio game?
You know, Trey Burke is the focal point right now. We've continued to dissect him, and I think he's gotten better every game, Spence. He just continues to run the offense well. He continues to make things happen for himself. Didn't shoot the ball extremely well, what rookie point guards do, right? The crazy thing about Trey Burke right now, and I was very curious to see how this would go against the San Antonio Spurs that gets a lot of deflections and plays great defense, his assist-to-turnover ratio. It's incredible. And I think he had only 1 or 2 turnovers in that game, but 2 turnovers. He's doing an incredible job of taking care of the ball. He's not playing safe basketball. He's taking risks. He's driving. He's getting in the lane. He's playing the way, you know, we thought he was going to play. He's just really taking care of the ball. So you got to imagine that now, as we've talked about creeping into the future of getting him around some superstars or getting him around some guys that could help this Jazz team really go far. That's the kind of point guard you want.
You know, in back-to-back wins at Sacramento and Denver, Trey had 19 assists and only 1 turnover. He had 20 points, which is a team high against San Antonio on Saturday. As you've sat back and watched Trey integrate himself into this system this early on, has it changed your mind about what he can be eventually? Not today, but eventually.
A little bit. And I'll say that. And I know you were high on him right coming out and thought that you would see him really be a potential star in this league. I had a little bit more of a question mark on my end just because of his size. And sometimes the college game doesn't always transition over for the NBA game, especially for point guards, just because of the different caliber point guards you're going against night in and night out. Though, and he's got Westbrook. He's got Chris Paul, you know, he's going against the best point guards in not only his division but in the West, and that's a tough night in and night out challenge. And so his size alone was what I guess made me kind of not be immediately thinking he was going to be a great point guard. And right now he is a very good point guard, but because of his work ethic and because of how much progress he's made in such a short amount of time, I'm on now. I feel like he's going to have a bright future in the NBA.
Now, as a guy that went from college to the pros, what if you had to kind of whittle it down to 1 or 2 things, what would you say is the most difficult element of acclimating yourself to next level of basketball?
The amount of games. I remember in January, about middle of February, my body being exhausted. We had to, you know, figure out, were we eating right? Were we sleeping enough? Were we drinking enough protein? What things could we add to our diet? And it's a different demand on your body to play that many games. And look, the games are longer. The shot clock's shorter. You're in a sort of a sprint mode all the time. When you're one of the top 8 players on the team, not saying that I was at different. I was more in the rotation at the beginning of the year, not so much in the middle. And then again at the end. Your body really goes through something it's never seen before. And in the college game, okay, yeah, you were the best player on the team in college, right? And you played a lot, but there was a lot more rest time, it felt like, than there was in the NBA.
Miami coming off a win against Cleveland, opening it up. Welcome back into Jazz basketball. Utah's in South Beach to take on the Miami Heat. And joining us now to preview the game and talk all things NBA is the great Jeff Van Gundy.
Coach, this is Britton Johnsen. I'm from this area, and our family's big fans of yours.
And he played for Majerus, Coach, so go easy on him.
You survived what I would call hard coaching. No one was more knowledgeable than Rick. That guy.
Yeah.
I went to clinics with him, and I thought I was competent, and then you come out of there feeling like you didn't know how to coach at all. So
well, I went overseas and played ball for a couple of rough Yugoslavian coaches and put kids in tears. And I used to look at these guys and say, "What's so hard about this? I don't understand."
Exactly.
So he yells at you, "Hey, coach! You know, a lot of question around here is whether or not we can fairly judge Ty Corbin and his coaching because he hasn't had the greatest players. But on the other side, can we fairly praise Spoelstra for never having to coach without a LeBron James and a Dwayne Wade?"
Well, I think you can. From Spoelstra's standpoint, his first 2 years he took over obviously had Wade, and then his second-best player was Udonis Haslem. And he made the playoffs both years, and he won in the low 40s and then in the high 40s his second year. To me, your job as a coach is to maximize your talent. He did that in those 2 years, and he got really no credit because – the people giving the credit in the media.
Coach, I want to ask you a question about the reffing with rookies and in Trey Burke's case. I mean, I remember I played 2 years in the NBA but was more of a bottom-of-the-bench guy. They talk about the rookie curve with referees and getting over that curve and when the refs kind of stop treating you like a rookie. When does something like that for a kid like Trey Burke, who we'll probably see in the rookie All-Star game, the sophomore All-Star games, when do you see that sort of start to disappear for a guy like him, and do you really even think that's something that exists?
Well, the referees would tell you that unequivocally that does not happen. They treat everybody the same. They don't even know the people in the uniforms. That's what they would say. They would say there's no star calls. They would say there's no rookie curve. Now, we live in the real world, and officials are human, and they're going to give the benefit of the doubt oftentimes on a bang-bang call to the better player. And so as a rookie, you have to establish yourself. And I think the thing that most players don't do a good job of is getting to know these guys and almost develop your own scouting report on the officials. Know their names, just the basics. Know their names, address them with respect, and then don't lie. And I do think the NBA officials try to just get the call right, but to think that no bias comes into it subconsciously, I think would be, naive at best.